Hi, it is Kamilah Rose from the Bliss Institute, and I am back today with a review of Steven Universe, the movie. Finally got to check it out. Finally got to actually write up some notes about it and my thoughts about it. So let us check it out. So, first off, I didn't realize this was going to be a musical. Not that I was upset about that because I do love the music from Steven Universe, but I was like, oh, they started off singing, and then I was like, oh, they're gonna keep on singing. And luckily, this came back later on with the main villain Spinel, who was like, you can't just sing everything away, and I was like, because I said this is a lot of singing going on here. But we start off the movie with Steven Universe. He is with the Diamonds on Homeworld, and he's like, all right, you guys, I'm out of here. I'm ready to go home. Of course, they don't want him to leave because he reminds them of Rose, but Steven goes ahead and he heads out and he goes back to Earth. That's where the singing starts. Everyone's there. Everyone's happy. Everyone's living it up. And Steven's all into the, oh my gosh, I hope we can stay this way forever and just live happily ever after. And then, of course, that's when the drill appears. That's when Spinel shows up. And she has the creepiest design to me. I was never a fan of those old school Mickey Mouse. I think they called them Disney classics when I would watch Disney. And I was just like, this is so scary. This is so creepy because like Mickey's mouth would do all these things and he had those long limbs and it was just, oh, and that's what Spinel looks like. And I was like, oh, she is horrific. And then of course she has these like tear stains going down her face. And I was like, oh, there is nothing fun and whimsical about that. She reminds me very much of like a gesture, which I thought was really interesting because of how she was trying to be so entertaining, or well, we'll see eventually. She's so entertaining and trying to just keep everyone happy, but a gesture in its kind of standard sense is the jester was able to kind of mimic things and mock things in the court. They could talk about the things that were actually going on and make fun of it, even though it was the truth that a normal person, if they said something like this, might be seen for treason or would get in trouble for what they were doing. But the jester is just like, oh, they're just making fun, and they laugh it off. So I was like, that's an interesting kind of position to put in there, especially with all the debate. And I guess it kind of accepted idea that Rose is a villain, or Pink Diamond is a villain, but it's really kind of bringing that back into the conversation. And I suppose that would probably lead into what will happen in Steven Universe. I think it's Universe 6. They have an additional season that's coming out. So I was like, maybe we'll really kind of dig into how, seeing beyond just the black and the white and the, Rose is evil, or Rose is a hero, that Rose is just a person growing and living and making a lot of really bad choices. So this gem, she's not happy. She's pissed. She poofs everyone. She tries to poof Steven, but it doesn't work. But it doesn't infect his gem. And so then he gets a hold of her weapon. Look at the kitty. And he ends up poofing her. And so then we're waiting for them to return. And so when they come back, when all the gems come back, they are kind of factory reset. They are back to their original forms. They don't have any memory of what happened in all this time, all the adventures they've gone through and growth they've gone through with Steven. So Steven is freaking out, and then Spinel comes back as well. And so instead of her being with that upside down heart and being all mean and crazy, she's back to her regular old original happy-go-lucky self. And so we get to really see that exemplified about how we get to see each gem's story kind of relived through this movie. And it's really interesting because you get to really understand how much and how well Steven knows all of the gems. Like Steven knows them all so well that he is able to take them back through the experiences that they've had to have in order to become who they are now. And I think that's really powerful, and it really speaks well to the importance of having long-term connections, or at least people who understand you, because they know then, if something is stressing you out or if you're having a bad time, why you might be reacting to something the way you are, and how it is that we actually go through character development. So we see that Steven's trying to get everyone to remember who they are. He decides to bring them through what has made them who they are. So first we get back Amethyst, which I was really happy because sometimes I feel like Amethyst doesn't get as much love as I would like for her to. And then we have Pearl, who becomes attached to Greg because, you know, pearls are like servants, and they are here to honor and work very closely with someone. And so since Rose isn't there and Greg is, he's just like, oh, okay, the great Greg. And I was like, oh no, this is a mess. And so we get a weird, I felt like it was weird. I'm sure most people think it's really sweet or like, oh my God, that's really cool. And it's interesting to see, okay, yes, so Steven could fuse with Connie, you know, he can fuse with other humans, but he fuses with Greg, which I was like, this is a little strange. But if we really look at it at its base, that it's just you can fuse with someone that you love, and, you know, who do you love more than your parents? And especially with Steven and Greg, his dad, you know, he doesn't have his mom. So that's all he had growing up and who he knew. So it's, you know, but it still gave me a weird feeling. So we're still trying to stop the drill. It's been releasing its poison into the earth. We've had Peridot and Lapis Lazuli and Bismuth working on it, trying to figure out how to get everything together. And I loved their interaction. I loved how they came together as a group, the three of them, how, you know, it's a lot of characters to try to, oh, we never saw any Jasper. I don't know if anyone saw any Jasper. I should look and see if Jasper showed up anywhere. But anyways, because I don't even know if Jasper is still around. Whatever. But I really love the fact that, like, they kind of partnered folks up together and grouped them so that we can still find out what happens to them after everything is over, after Homeworld and all of the colonies have kind of, the wars ended and folks are starting to heal. And there's a new space being built on Earth so that it can be a station for Steven to stay there and for other gems to come and for the diamonds to come and visit when they feel like it, which might be a frequent thing since they love Steven so much, but maybe now that they have something else to put their attention to, they won't be back so often. But we get Pearl back, and they go through kind of what really made Pearl who she was not Rose. They had Amethyst show up as Rose, but it was having to be independent and really find her own path and find her own destiny and not live to serve someone else, but to figure out what really she wanted to do and who she wanted to be. So yeah, they have Greg have to leave, and that's how he merges or fuses with Steven. So once we get Pearl back, who knows who Spinel is, she's like, oh, Spinel, that was, you know, Pink Diamond's playmate, you know, and then when she got her colony, she didn't really need her anymore. We go back to kind of how Spinel became the not so nice Spinel. So they were on this garden on one of the planets that Pink Diamond had, and they were playing. They would have all this fun because the Diamonds didn't take Pink Diamond so serious, and Pink Diamond needed something to keep herself entertained because it could be very boring not having a colony or anything like that to do. So her and Spinel would just play, and they would play and have a great time. Well, then the Diamonds decided to give Pink Diamond a colony on Earth, and, you know, we heard through the dialogue in the series about how the Diamonds were always saying that Pink Diamond needed to grow up, she needed to be more mature, she's not going to be able to handle a colony. And then you have this very rambunctious, energetic, childlike Spinel, and she was just like, this is not going to work. If I need to appear to be mature and able to handle a colony, I got to leave this child part of myself behind. And so she decides to play another game with Spinel. She tells her to just stay there and that she'll be back and she'll come get her. And she does not come back at all, like ever. And so then we see where Steven sent out a message through all of the systems and all of the communication devices that the gems have. And so we see him pop up on the communicator in the garden where Spinel is. And she's like, okay, but it's Pink Diamond, but it's not Pink Diamond. And now we have Steven, but Steven's not coming back to get me. No one's coming back to get me. I've been forgotten. I'm not good enough. What have I done to deserve this? I thought I was just doing what I was supposed to be doing. So you really see this kind of trauma building in this character, and how blaming herself for the actions going on, even though it had literally nothing to do with her, but having no one to communicate with or to talk to, and how when we're isolated, we need human interaction, although they are not humans, being so used to having interaction, and how that was so fixated on one person, and then that one person disappearing was really traumatic for Spinel. And we really get to see how that plays out into her becoming this kind of evil person who just wants to get revenge on the person who she assumes took away her main fixation. Now, like others have said, I don't know where she got that drill from. I don't know where she got this poison from, but she got it. Maybe she made it out of the garden. Maybe there was something there she could use. I don't know, but she got it. She made it work. So now that Spinel's kind of gone back through her history, she's mad again. She's pissed. She's back to her old self. And so she is ready to fight again. But Steven talks her down. Steven's really good at that. Steven talks her down, and she's like, well, I don't want to be like this, but people aren't going to forgive me. They're going to hold a grudge. And Steven's like, no, it's going to be fine. And then they get her back. She's meeting with people. Now they want to fight. Pearl and Amethyst are ready to, like, Steven, she's evil. What are you doing? And then, Garnet still doesn't remember who she is. And so, but then Garnet has the weapon that Spinel had, and she trips it open, and Steven's like, give me that, it's really dangerous. And then so Steven has it, and then Spinel, the trauma, the PTSD, she starts getting paranoid. She is all, I knew you weren't going to be able to accept me. You wanted me to be able to go and take this drill down. And that's what she does. She had already taken the drill out. She'd stopped it. Everything was going to be better. And then she's freaking out now because they accidentally tripped open the weapon, because she didn't believe that she was worthy of being able to be accepted. And also, now that Steven got her to stop the drill, he was like, oh, cool, great, let's go fix Garnet. And he was just like, I'm done. I don't need you anymore. And I thought that was interesting, because, like, that's behavior that Rose Diamond portrayed, that Pink Diamond portrayed. Like, Pink Diamond was very much like, okay, you have a use, you have a purpose while I need you, and then once you've served that purpose, then, like, so long, peace out, I'll see you later. So he really did the same thing that Pink Diamond did, only not to the same degree or with the same intention or purpose. But Spinel doesn't have the context or the maturity to be able to understand that. So of course she went right back to where she was. So now she's ready to fight. She's ready to go. She's pumping the poison into the earth. It's going to destroy all life on Earth. The town's falling apart. The gyms go to save everyone in town. They get them back to the kind of like the new kind of gym town there. And Steven and her are going to duke it out. And so he's like, I can talk to her. I can fix this. And then he gets really frustrated because he's like, why have I not gained control of my powers again? Because he had, he wasn't poofed, of course, but his diamond was compromised and he wasn't able to control his powers. He was the same situation as the other gems in that he had to go through these experiences to get him back. Frustrated because he's like, I have literally gone through my entire storyline that I've gone through these seasons and I still can't control my powers. And then he realizes that the biggest lesson he learned was that he had to be open to change. He had to be open to the gift that he had to grow and transform and to learn and to forgive and to change his mind and to change other people's ways of viewing themselves and each other. And then once he embraced that, he got control back of his powers. But he wasn't so intent on really wanting to just kind of force things to work. He wanted to work with Spinel. He really wanted her to see that he can change and that she could change. And him being that mirror, which is so important to the storyline in so many cases, is that he acted like a mirror for basically everyone he came in contact to say, okay, yes, you might have been in this really awful situation, you know, Amethyst was left in the kindergarten and she cooked too long and she was small, not like a, normal size Amethyst. And Pearl, who just feels like she put so much with Rose Quartz that she didn't know how to be her own independent being, and that's what a Pearl was supposed to do. And then Garnet, who's this new thing, this fusion that's never been accepted, just learning to love herself and to build her own family and her own identity. And Steven being able to say, okay, yes, I am partly Rose Quartz, I'm partly Pink Diamond, but I'm Steven, and I don't have to do the same things she does, and I don't have to pay for what she's done. I can do my best to try to fix it, but I'm not responsible for the person that I used to be. And so he really gets to showcase that to everyone, and some people are able to make that move and able to have that growth, like Peridot, who Peridot's so funny because they have the weapon and it resets you, and Peridot's like, if I touch that, I'm gonna lose all of my character growth. And I was like, that's so funny because we were all like, yes, go Peridot. But Peridot, Lapis Lazuli, Bismuth, like they've all gone through this story of having to be able to realize that they don't have to continue the same narrative, to carry the same story. They can change who they are. So he finally is able to get Spinel to see that she doesn't have to stay angry. She doesn't have to seek this revenge continuously. That's not the only story she can tell. And that, yes, she is angry because what Pink Diamond did to her was awful. Like, it was terrible. And no one's trying to dispute that. And Steven's like, that's okay. We all know that she did terrible things. We can work through this, and you can work through this. And so Spinel turns off, well, the machine dumps all the stuff in, but she's like, okay, well, how can we fix this now? Because I've poisoned everything. And so here goes Steve. He's like, oh, I've got my powers back. So he starts kissing the ground and it's regrowing and it's healing. And I was like, okay, homie, you just gonna kiss all the things and try to fix it, but whatever. It's a cartoon, so let him do it. And then the diamonds come back, and because they're like, Steven, we missed you. I love the diamonds. I think the diamonds were my favorite part of the entire movie. They are just hilarious. They come back. They're on Earth. They're like, you left us, so we decided we're just going to come stay here with you because it's so boring there without you. And they get there, and Yellow Diamond is like, what is that smell? And then Blue Diamond's like, what are you, like, they don't understand. They don't smell it. And Yellow Diamond's like, it's because you live here. And I was like, this is hilarious. Like, they're like your messy ants. They come in and they're just like trash talking everyone, but like everyone loves them because they're really funny, and they're just extra. And White Diamond is so freaking dramatic because she's just like, Steven, oh, I can't believe that you've been gone for so long. And I'm just like, what is she doing? Why is she talking like that? And she has those nails, and like her face is just like, it's just done up. Like, oh, she's just amazing. And so they're wanting to stay there. Steven's like, our house isn't big enough for you all. And she's just like, is your planet, White Diamond, is your planet always this destroyed? And I was like, girl, y'all don't want to stay here. This place is a mess. Steven Universe doesn't address global warming, but like global warming, girl, y'all go back to y'all's palace where everything is nice and clean. So then Spinel comes out, Steven introduces her, and Spinel makes them laugh. And they're like, oh my gosh, she's so entertaining. And so then White Diamond's like, how about we take Spinel with us and you all stay here and we'll see you later. And I was like, this is great. This is absolutely hilarious, because I would do the same thing. Like, I'm going to leave the nasty place and I'm going to go back to the nice place, and I'll just take this person with me because they seem fun, and we'll see you later. And so I was a little like, I felt like I can understand why the Diamonds, who they sing this song, Let Us Adore You, and they're looking to fill this void. They've been looking to fill it with Steven, and now they have someone else because Blue Diamond makes a comment, oh, it's Pink's playmate, and it's like, okay, this is a piece of Pink, so we can kind of still have her here. And it's like, people who hold on to items of past loved ones, or they want to sell a home because that's where their parents or their grandparents or someone they loved, stayed at. But Spinel is a person, and I wonder about that character development when they're in a place where people are just trying to make themselves feel better. And even with Spinel, it was like, okay, well, I can keep them entertained and laughing, but will that give her the space to be able to explore her anger and her frustration, or will she just be trying to keep them entertained so that they don't leave her like everyone else has? So I don't know. There's something to explore there, but I think it's still good that like Diamonds will leave, Spinel will leave, and they can start working on fixing the earth. And then Steven ends with really understanding that there's no such thing as happily ever after. There'll always be problems. There'll always be things that need to be worked on. And it's just the understanding that you don't have to let that stress you out so much that you are unable to cope or to enjoy the good moments, because there are so many more good moments usually than there are bad moments or stressful moments. And so taking the good with the bad, and even I know sometimes folks say that the good things feel better, they taste sweeter because of the fact that you've experienced these negative parts and you've experienced these stressful times. So you understand and you can appreciate the good times even more. And I think that's what Steven's learning here. So that's it for Steven Universe movie. I did have some notes. Lars and Sadie, I'm a shipper. I know it's strange. I don't care. They were in the end scene together. I was extremely excited. And then Connie and Steven, they had a little kiss. Connie came riding in on Lion. She's all fantastic with her sword. I was like, I love this. I hope we get to see more of her. It's like badass warrior Connie. She's really great. And then finished out with the Diamonds and Spinel. So that was about it for Steven Universe. I am excited to see what will happen in the next season. And I did not put this on the title, but I saw the spoilers for Attack on Titan, and I need for that to come up for some discussions. I need to start seeing some videos because it blew me away. So if you're not into Attack on Titan or you haven't seen the spoilers for chapter 121, click off because I am shook and I need to know what's happening. I need to know what's going on with Eren, because I swear he's been running everything. He's been running the entire show. Way back when he kissed Historia's hand, I'm like, I don't even know if that's the story. It might be someone else. The queen chick, whatever her name is. When he kissed her hand way back there, he was already activating his powers to go travel through memories and to travel through time and to see the future and experience the past and all this other stuff. And I'm sitting here like, holy crap, this dude has just like, and then I'm wondering, I wish I could really, like, I need to go and just take a look, because I wonder if that's when he started to look so aged, because eventually, like, we know that like he's a Titan and stuff, so he's changing, he's transforming and things into a Titan, but like Eren started to look a little haggard. He started to look a little rough. And I'm like, oh my gosh, is that because he knows what's coming and what he has to do and all of that? And then so we get to the end and we get Papa Jaeger and we get Zeke and we have Eren and Papa Jaeger tells Zeke that his dream is not going to be the one that comes true. It's going to be Eren's. And so Zeke is all like, oh, well, I got to make sure that doesn't happen because we can't have this continuing to go on and passing down through the Eldians. And then we have Eren, who is still like shackled up there. And he sends off, Zeke sends off, oh gosh, I can't remember her name. He sends her off. Oh, Ymir. He sends off Ymir, and he's like, you go and you make sure that they can't reproduce anymore so that we don't have any more Titans. She's just start walking. She just starts going. And then Eren's freaking out. I don't know if he rips his hand off, if he just breaks his thumb or something. He breaks out of those chains and he starts running because he's like, I gotta stop her. This is not gonna be okay. And I'm like, does he know that this is gonna happen? Because he seemed really surprised. He was not expecting that. But I was like, but maybe this is what happens that stop the like, because I'm like, what happens? Because you see Eren and he's reaching out, he's like right there about to touch Ymir, and I'm like, what happens when Eren touches Ymir? Is he gonna see all of her memories? And that's all I want. All I want is to know what happens with Ymir. I want to know what really happened to create the Titans, to set all of this up. Was it a deal with the devil? Was it just her like doing some weird witchcraft in the woods or something? Because it didn't work out well for her. She's been stuck inside of this Titan world place, wherever it is, for however long, just stuck there doing whatever these people tell her to do. So I was like, this didn't work out for her in the end. So I'm like, I just really want to know what happens. I think when Aaron touches her, he will get access to her memories and he will see what is going on and he will see the many multitudes of choices that he can make. And it's just going to be amazing. And I really hope that that's what happens in the next chapter. I swear, if he switches to some different scene to cover some different people in that next chapter, I'm going to not be happy, but it will be fun. But I still think that Aaron's going to be the one who gets his way because I think he is running this entire show, unless we get a total subversion of that and like Aaron gets screwed. That is, those are the two options I'm really weighing, is that Aaron's going to get his way. I mean, I don't think it's going to end well for him, but I think he's going to get his way of finding a way to release Ymir so she can go live her life, to stop the Titan curse in the way that it works, to release the aliens so they can peace and have something at least or to work with the many civilizations of the world at this time so they're not being continuously persecuted, and that's what he'll end up doing. So I don't know. And then I wonder, is that back panel the one we've seen where we see a baby and someone saying you're free now, if that's even like, what if that's like what's that man's name, Aaron's dad's name, Papa Yeager, if that's Papa Yeager, go back and change something. I don't even know. I really need to talk about that. And no one I know watches Attack on Titan. So anyways, that's going to be all. Apparently we've had some issues with the connection. Okay, connection is back now. That's going to be it. Let me go ahead and get off of here. Clearly I've been on here long enough. So I'll see you later. Bye.